Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. You might wait a couple more moments, but before we crack in, I just thought I would welcome everybody that is live to our special edition webinar where we'll be showcasing OnboardMe. And we've got Lee, the co-founder of OnboardMe, here to show us all the ins and outs of everything. I won't steal Lee's thunder of running through too much of what he will be showcasing, but just to know that we're going to be walking through the whole process of, I guess, client onboarding from the lead generation all the way through to onboarding your clients and also taking payments, which is what we love to do here at Pinch. A bit of housekeeping before we crack in as well is, for those of you who haven't used Contrast before, it will be similar to your Zooms and your Teams. There is a chat box. Hopefully everyone can see a few things in the chat. Maybe I'll get somebody to post something in there just so we know it's working. Oh, I can see, there we go, Cam, thank you. So hopefully everyone can see that there too. And we will also have a few questions throughout that may pop up on your screen. So make sure that you are ready to answer a couple of bits and pieces. In addition to the chat that you can answer or ask questions throughout, we'll also have some time at the end for Q&A with Lee, Cam, and myself as well. So all a bit of fun, but I will jump into some intros now. So I'm going to save the best for last with Lee. First off, awesome. Hey, Enrica. Hi from WA. Thank you for getting up early for this. First off, I'll start with myself. So I'm the Channel Success Manager here at Pinch. I look after the accounting and bookkeeping channel and have kind of been living and breathing accounting and bookkeeping for the last 10 years. So either working in practice at Xero or now at Pinch, kind of looking after our channel. I have got a little bit of a cold today too. So if I go on mute, you know why, and Cam may have to step in, but I'm not the star of this show. So I will throw it across to Cam to introduce himself next too.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emily. Yes, my name's Cameron Taylor. Some of you may be familiar with me as I've been around the Pinch stable for quite a while now. I'm product education lead here at Pinch Payments and also like platform support. As well as that, as you can see, I'm in my lovely Hawaiian themed Pinch shirt today because the sun has finally returned to the great Sunshine State. If you are joining us from Brisbane, I don't know why you've decided to spend the day not outside. So hopefully, at least if you're watching from home or from the office, you parked yourself up near a window to get a bit of the lovely weather that's joined us back. So as Emily said, I'll be in the chat. I'll be manning the chat. So if you do have any questions, please reach out. Please ask them. I'll compile them and bring them to Lee's attention or Emily's attention to make sure that we get those answered for you. Otherwise, feel free to chat amongst yourselves, ask each other great questions as well. We're all here about supporting everyone using Pinch, so be it platforms or our merchants. So yeah, thanks, Sam.
Awesome, thanks, Cam. And Lee, I'll throw it across to you now.
Oh, thanks, Sam. Thanks, Cam. Yeah, so I'm Lee Williams. I'm one of the co-founders of OnboardMe. So I've been building software or working in the accounting software space since 2008, straight out of school. So I joined a software company in South Africa. I'm South African, if my accent doesn't throw that right out. And yeah, so been building primarily for accountants, bookkeepers. I've built a range of different products like tax, practice management, document management, and came to Australia in 2022. And it was around about 2023 or so when we started building OnboardMe. And yeah, it's amazing to be here today and be able to talk all things Pinch and OnboardMe, and from proposal to payment to onboarding and not having to juggle 15 apps. Yeah, so great to be here.
Awesome, thanks, Lee. So maybe what we'll do is we'll just start with what is OnboardMe?
Yeah, so OnboardMe was born from the client onboarding workflow being disconnected or inefficient. You had a lot of firms doing things manually, doing parts in Excel, doing parts in Word, doing parts in one app, doing parts in another. And what we found is as more and more kind of regulations came into play, especially in the accounting space, that sort of thing, where you needed to kind of build these processes into your workflow to kind of streamline it. Or what would happen is you're sitting with teams of people just focused on onboarding new clients. That's great for you internally because you've got people to man it, but for your client who has 8 different touch points with you, right? So accept our proposal here, sign here, do this there, do that there. It's extremely disjointed for someone who theoretically just wants to give you money to do something, right? So yeah, and that's kind of how we were born. So the platform from where we started out originally, which was just going to be client onboarding, we've evolved into what I like to refer as the Swiss Army knife of the onboarding workflow. And our idea is from lead to onboarding, one place. So that's a new client comes to your website, so they can create themselves as a lead. You don't even have to create them as a lead. From there, you can send them a proposal. You can choose if you want to take any kind of payment up front, get them to sign your terms and conditions. From there, you can go straight into client onboarding. Now, depending on what you do as a business, you may need to do stuff like ID verification, request documents, do a whole bunch of different things. And again, we didn't want to have a separate app for that. So we've integrated ID verification with the tranche 2 changes that are coming out for accountants. We'll have AML PEP checks. We've got an entire compliance module that's done. Then we decided that we weren't doing enough. So we built ethical letters for accountants. So an accountant has to ask the previous accountant, hey, is this person a good customer to have? And that, again, is a manual process. Then we still realized we weren't doing enough. So we built a forms module. Now, forms can mean different things to different people. Our interpretation of e-forms is like a Google Doc or a Microsoft form, where you build your own kind of data collection type questionnaires, checklists, that sort of thing. And you want your clients to kind of give you as much information as possible outside of just getting their client information and doing ID checks. Every firm is a little different in the data that they want to collect. And we kind of hope to solve that in one system, one platform that's then integrated into the tools that you already use. So Pinch, as an example, Pinch for payments, right? We integrate into Xero, we integrate into XPM, FYI. Our idea is to try and reduce the amount of double entry of data that you have to do while having a seamless kind of onboarding flow. So that's, just a couple of things we do. So yeah, and before we went to market, we were looking for a payment provider who was going to support us through the startup phase, but also that was going to have people that I can talk to, right? So I say this every webinar because it's true, but the developer experience and just the support from the Pinch team while we were building, while we've scaled, has been absolutely impeccable. And yeah, it's one of the reasons originally why we chose the Pinch team was we get to talk and deal with human beings like Cam, like Em, who make it just so much easier for us as a platform to facilitate payments.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. Yeah, it's great to work with you as well. And just even with my accounting background, like I know there would be a separate system for leads, another app maybe for proposals, something else that you would use for payments. Client onboarding is probably manual. E-forms and ethical letters are also a manual process. So it's so cool that it's all kind of bundled into one.
Yeah, and it's been a journey,
Yeah.
and we're not done. So I think we did a webinar probably about a year ago, maybe just under a year ago. And for those who were there for that webinar, the platform that you'll see today is not the same platform that we demoed back then. And we're not slowing down.
Ooh, exciting. Awesome. Okay, we'll jump into the next slide. Did you want to elaborate on this one as well a little bit, Lee?
Yeah, so the idea is that depending on the system that you're using or the process, right, what happens is if you've got a separate system for your leads, that may or may not be integrated into what your practice management system is or what you're using to actually generate a proposal. And even some proposal systems out there, they force you to go and create the client first, which if you have all the information is great, but if you don't, it's a very broken process. So what we allow you to do is from proposal, leads is great because leads, you get kind of some of that information up front. But even if you don't, a name, surname, email address is enough to get a proposal out signed, and then the client can give you the rest of the information. But the idea was that from initial proposal, like, hey, I need you to do X, Y, Z, whether it's a new client or an existing client, it's a couple of clicks of a button. You can go as complicated as you'd like to, include as many things as you want to, but you can also just like create templates, right, that are like 3 clicks of a button, and you can just reuse the same proposal over and over so that you don't have to keep typing and picking the same things. And then from that proposal, you can choose, do you want to take payment upfront? Are you a kind of deposit firm, right? Do you do any upfront kind of payments? Do you do fixed fee? Do you want to set up like a repeating invoice or something like that? Are you going to have a client who's on a 12-month package? You can deploy all of that to something like Xero directly from our proposal system. So when the client accepts your proposal, we're going to Xero, we're creating the contact, we're creating the invoice, we're taking the payment from Pinch if you've taken payment up front. And then we're also deploying a repeating invoice. And then because it's an OnboardMe, Pinch, kind of Xero triangle, the golden triangle, if you want to refer to that. Some people, there's Bermuda Triangle, not that triangle, the other triangle, with the fun triangle. And because everything lives in Xero, the tool that you already use to build, Pinch and Xero connect. I'm just using Xero as an example. But and it just then all of your billing's automated and you don't have to worry about a third system. We are just the facilitator of getting the bills done. And then of course the ID verification part, right? So the client onboarding and ID verification part. So getting a client to accept a proposal, great. Getting payment details up front, even better. Getting all their information from them's a separate kettle of fish. And being able to do that in one flow without having to jump between different systems, or your client having to jump between different systems, being able to verify their ID, do AML checks, that sort of thing. It just really simplifies everything. And then from the payment perspective, so pick your happy path, right? So our integration with Pinch is as deep as I think it can possibly be. So you can choose if you want to take payment up front. Great. If you don't want to take payment up front, you can also just collect payment details up front. So whether it's credit card or direct debit. You can also choose whether you want to surcharge to your client and display that to them. You can then also, as part of the onboarding flow, so if you don't want to do a proposal, you're just getting them to onboard themselves, they can do their payment methods there. But if you bill on completion, well, we've got that solved too. So from our app, you can also just create a bill, and one click of a button will create it in Xero, take the payment from Pinch if they've got a payment method on file, and Pinch will then mark it as paid. So we're really trying to do that. And just the last step there is just that integration, right? So contacts, invoices, payments, flowing between us, that you don't have to recapture things, but also in a way that you already know. So we don't change how Pinch and Xero integrate and how they work. That stays the same, and it works amazingly. But what we do is we just enhance it and automate a couple of different things.
The fun triangle. I reckon everyone is super keen to see it in action. So maybe I'll get rid of the slides, Lee, and we can see what it looks like in the OnboardMe system. We'll delete that. Hopefully everyone can see all good now.
Yeah, amazing. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys kind of OnboardMe today. There's 2 different ways to see OnboardMe. There's what you guys see as the users of OnboardMe, and then there's what your clients see. What you see is a kind of OnboardMe experience. You see our colors, you see our branding, that sort of thing. But when your clients access our system, they see a fully branded experience. So you can pick your logo, you pick your colors, you can even pick where you want your logos to sit. And if you're using something like Microsoft, you can even plug your own email address in. So we won't send emails from OnboardMe. We'll send emails from info@thefuncompany.com, and the emails will actually show up in your sent items. So we're really trying to give you and your clients as seamless of a process as possible. So that's kind of the branding and the customization and all of that sort of thing. And everything in our app is modular. So you get everything with a subscription. So we're not paywalling any sorts of features. We don't do number of clients. We don't do number of users. We have a request type model that hopefully, simplifies the billing experience. But everything's modular. So you can send a proposal without the client existing, or you can create the client first, or you can have a lead, or you can just send an onboarding. You can just send an ethical. You can just do an ID verification. You can just send a form. You don't have to use us for everything. You can choose what you want to, but we've pieced that onboarding workflow together in a way that from a single proposal, you can do everything in one. But before we get into what we do and how we do it, I think for those of you who are existing Pinch customers or are new Pinch customers, the first question is, well, how do I connect OnboardMe and Pinch? So there's two different ways to do that. So if you're an existing Pinch customer, you have a way to do that. If you are a new Pinch customer, there's another way to do that. So that'll usually start it depends if you're an OnboardMe customer or not, right? So there's a couple of different variations, but realistically, if you're new to OnboardMe and you have a Pinch account, you can just sign up to OnboardMe for our website. And then you can come into OnboardMe and you can go to settings business. And inside of here, you can go to payment settings and you can just pick Pinch as your payment vendor. And when you click Pinch, we'll ask you to set up your account. And the first question we're going to ask you is, are you an existing Pinch customer, yes or no? And if you're new to Pinch, you can just say no, and we will take you through the process of actually setting up your Pinch account. So Pinch will need to do a couple of different things. They'll need some documents from you, kind of the KYC process that every business has to go through for payments. But if you are an existing Pinch customer, all you need to do is just plug your API keys in. It sounds terrifying. It's not terrifying. We have help articles for both, and we're here to help you with that process. So if you are an existing Pinch customer, you don't have to sign up for a new Pinch account. You can just use your existing Pinch account with OnboardMe. This one here is I've done it through OnboardMe, but I can see here. We've got, there's videos too. So you see the Pinch team already miles ahead of me here. You can see the status of your Pinch account. And then you can also kind of turn a couple of dials here. So what payment options do you want to provide? Do you want to provide both credit card and direct debits? Do you want to surcharge credit cards? Do you want to surcharge your direct debit? And then what's the default due date for your invoice? So you create a bill. What's the default due date? And this will kind of mold the proposal experience that we're going to show you, how your clients kind of will interact with the things that we show them, that sort of thing. But easy as you, from the payment settings in OnboardMe, you plug your existing Pinch account in or create a new one. Once you've done the fun box ticking exercise that is proving you are a real human being and you're self-aware, then you should be good to go for payments. So that's the not fun side, right? Getting things connected. In this example here, so I just a couple of things. So we integrate to a whole bunch of different apps, but this instance of OnboardMe, the fun company, is connected to FYI, we're connected to XPN, and we're connected to Zero Ledger. What happens in OnboardMe doesn't really change. We show you a couple of different things depending on what you're integrated to. You don't have to, for those of you not accountants, you don't need XPM or FYI. You can just connect to your Zero Blue file. QuickBooks, which is coming very soon, you'll be able to just connect to QuickBooks and be able to process payments through that. The OnboardMe experience will remain the same. We just try and automate as much as we can off the back of it. But today we kind of want to take you through what a proposal is going to look like, how you can set one up, how you can get paid. Yeah, a whole bunch of different things. So what I'm going to do is we're going to send a proposal to Emily. Emily, you're my test subject for today. Welcome. Yeah.
Thanks, Lee. Excited to be here.
Yeah, amazing. Just on that. So Emily, you'll be our new client. So what we'll do is that'll start off from a proposal, right? So when you access the proposal screen, kind of the first thing that you see is all of your existing proposals and their statuses. And everything in OnboardMe has a status. And the reason we have a status is because we do automated reminders. So you don't even have to worry about the follow-ups. So when you send a proposal to your client, new client or existing client, we'll do the annoying part as part of the process. So once you send it up, you don't have to worry about following up. We'll do all of that for you. And you can copy from an existing one. You can create one from a template. So we've given you a couple of different ways to do this. But what I'll do is I'll start this off from a brand new proposal. So a new proposal, and the first thing that we'll ask you to do is this an existing client or is it a new client? So we know Emily is a new client. So what I can do is I hope I got that right, Emily. Did I? Oh, amazing.
Perfect.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add in my email address because I'll be the person doing it. You have the option here to add in their ABN and address. And for anyone who's not in Australia, our fields change depending on the country that you might be watching this from. So if you're in New Zealand, or we host in a couple of different countries and support OnboardMe merchants throughout the world, OnboardMe users throughout the world, but we will change depending on the country that you sign up with, and the fields will change accordingly. So the reason we've got your ABN and the address for the client, if you can fill that in, great. But some people, as part of their terms and conditions, want the ABN or the address in. And if you don't have it, that's fine. We'll get your client to complete it before they accept your proposal, so that your end kind of terms and conditions and all of that is fully kind of baked. So as part of the proposal, this is where that new client workflow kind of comes into play. So here we can say, what do we want to do? So we want to include an onboarding with this. Yep. So we want Emily to do an onboarding. Do we want to send an ethical letter to the previous accountant? And then do we also want Emily to do a form? So one place, one setup, you're front loading all of those different things that your client has to do. And then we take them through the journey of doing each of those things. And they don't have to do everything in one sitting. They can break it up into different parts. That's why we have automated reminders. So someone might accept your proposal and pay you today. They might do their client onboarding tonight when they're at their PC or something. You can do stuff like, yes, I'll include an onboarding. What we can do here is we've got people and signatories and recipients. So a person to sign and accept your proposal doesn't necessarily have to be the person to do the onboarding. It can handle a one-person onboarding where it's just Emily, or let's say Emily has a family group, right? So it's Emily and your lovely dog, right? I've seen your dogs. Yeah. So
George.
Your dog doesn't have to do an ID verification, I can tell you that. But yeah, so you can have more than one person to sign, more than one person to do the onboarding. And again, it's simplicity or complexity. You pick whichever one you need to do, and we will do both. So it's just Emily today. So I've got the mobile number mandatory. So I don't know if I could type, it might help. So I've got a mobile number in. Once that's done, I can move to the next step. So we've immediately picked up that Emily is a new individual. So there's a couple of different flags that we can now set on Emily's client that we're going to get onboarded. So do we want Emily's tax details? So if you're an accountant and you need their TFN, you can do this, and this will make the TFN mandatory. There's a whole bunch of different settings that you can control on whether they can bypass giving you the tax file number. If you don't need the TFN, you don't even need to tick this. You can also request documents as part of the proposal and onboarding flow. So you don't have to have a separate request to go and collect docs. You can just do that from within OnboardMe. So yep, we can request docs, and you'll see that it's popped up a list of documents. So you can set up templates for a whole bunch of different doc types that you want to collect. You can change them so we don't need certain ones. And then, of course, For your compliance bit, we can check if we want Emily to do an ID verification or not. So one flow kind of from start to finish, all of that will be here. And because Emily may not be alone, so if Emily was just an individual that was going to do the work, great. If Emily had a company, we can also include the company as part of our onboarding. Emily can also add more entities in if Emily wants. I'm talking about you in like the third and fourth person now, Emily, I'm sorry, but it makes sense in my brain.
I'm just thinking about all my corporations as well, Lee, that I'd have to include.
Okay. So we definitely want you to do an extensive AML check just to make sure that all of your money is above board.
Of course.
Definitely, yeah. And there's a whole bunch of different things we can do for non-individuals, like tax agent linking if you're a tax agent. We can also request accounting file access, a bunch of different things. And once that's done, so I'll move to that. You can also, if you're using something like XPM or that, you can actually set up the family group from within us. You don't have to jump to a separate system to set up the family group. You can do that from within OnboardMe, and we'll go and create that family group automatically for you. Cool. So once that's done, we've also said we wanted to include an e-form. So e-forms, again, are our data collection questionnaire type things, right? So here we have, and you can create a blank form if you want to, or you can use an existing template. So here I've got something like my personal income tax checklist. And our forms allow you to build questionnaires. So you can have multiple choice questions, file uploads, links, conditional questions. So a lot of people want the ability to say, if they say yes, do this. If they say no, do that. We handle all of that kind of natively in our solution. So this is going to be quite a big form. It's got I think it's 52 questions. Sorry, Emily, we're not going to do all 52 questions. We'll be here, But once that's done, we've done our front loading, which is our kind of client setup. So proposal, onboarding, form. So there's a little bit of work to be done up front, and you can create templates to do all of this automatically. But the idea is you front load a bit of that work, and then everything's automated off the back of it. So what we can do now is we can now go into setting up our proposal. So we can give our proposal a name. So 2026, we have options to set the expiry, the duration. When does the proposal actually start? And then we've got a couple of different options. So I've got XPM enabled, so I can say, hey, do I want to deploy jobs to XPM? So from proposal, you can deploy jobs straight to XPM. We want to do billing. This is Pinch, right? We want to take payment up front, and we're going to do repeating invoices off the top. So Emily's going to pass all the money today. We've also got, do we want to require payment details? So yes, we do. So even if you don't do billing up front, as I said, you can still collect payment details that Pinch can use later on to take the money from any invoices that get generated. And then we also have a checklist module. So again, the Swiss Army knives of different things. So if you've got a new client checklist, or a client continuance checklist, or for those tranche 2 folk who need to do a risk assessment checklist come tranche 2, based on whether you're providing designated services and all of that, we have a checklist module that you'll be able to do that as part of the entire proposal. So again, we do a lot of things. You don't have to do all of these things. I'm just kind of running you through the high value ones, I'd say. Now we can set up a welcome message. So you can personalize kind of the first interaction that your client sees. We have approval modules, so you can have one person set it up, another person approve it. If you've got like an FAQ or some sort of marketing material, you can include that in here too. But once that's done, we can now go to the important part, which is our pricing. So a service is a piece of work that you can provide to your clients. So depending on what industry you're in, that sort of thing. And a package is a collection of those services. So instead of you having to pick the 5 services that you want, I can pick something like bookkeeping and payroll, and we'll automatically populate your services. And each of these can have their own pricing model. So you can choose what the pricing is that you're showing to your client. So whether it's fixed fee, whether it's hourly, whether it's a range, whether you don't show any pricing at all, it's totally up to you. We'll just do whatever you tell us to do. It's pretty much the way to do that. For those of you who may want to give your clients a choice, we support that too. So you can give them a choice of 3 packages, so they can pick the one that's right for them. For those of you who also want to just say, hey, you've asked us about bookkeeping or something like that, but here's our full menu of services for them to pick from after, that we support that kind of flow too. So once that's done, but here we've got our billing options. So we said we wanted to include billing, and then we can also choose whether we want to include repeating invoices. So we want to take payment up front. So what we can do is, based on our services that we're offering, we'll create some pro forma bills for you. And each of these you can now say, do you want to bill this up front? If you want to bill it up front, do you want to bill all 100%? Do you only want to bill 50%? It's up to you kind of how you want to bill. If you don't want to bill up front, what you can do is you can just, we'll create this in Xero as an example after the proposal's been accepted, and then Pinch can automatically take the money a couple of days after, depending on what your payment settings are. But no, we want to take payment up front. But we also know that Emily is going to be a fixed fee client moving forward. So what we can do is we can also include repeating invoices. So this is right now a Xero specific feature that we have. And what this does is different to other systems where they may just generate an invoice every time and then sync it through. We actually deploy a repeating invoice template into Xero. So you don't have to worry about where it's coming from. You're used to billing out of Xero. You can go into Xero and you can manage your repeating bills moving forward. So I'm going to create a repeating invoice. I can pick from an existing one, and you'll see that each of our invoice line items is pre-filled based on the service that we had set up, and it has its own text, and all of this text you can customize. These are just our standard defaults. But we can choose, so how often does this repeating invoice go? So every 1 month or every 4 months, quarterly, annually. You can specify a start date. So this will happen from the end of April. And if you put in an end date, Xero will stop billing it at that end date. It's due 7 days after the bill date. It's approved for sending. So when Xero creates the invoice on the date, it will automatically send it out to your client. Here we've got all of our different line items. So, and each of them maps to a Xero product/sale item. And what that means is the invoices that we generate go to the correct chart of account when they actually land up in Xero. So we've got our repeating bill set up now. Great. So we're taking upfront payment for $9.90, but we're also billing Emily $9.90 ongoing in perpetuity because we didn't add an end date. Sorry, Emily. But that's good. So here we have our terms and conditions. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. You can have multiple different templates, as you can see by my lovely naming conventions. But the idea here is you can either have a PDF or you can have text. And the text allows you to build your own kind of terms and conditions, that sort of thing. You can embed signature blocks. You can have page breaks. You can do a whole bunch of different things. That the end result of this is we translate this entire digital thing into a PDF that we actually download to your client that's fully signed, so that that you have a professional type of thing. For those bookkeepers who are on the thing, the webinar, we also do STP authority. So yeah, we're super flexible in the things we can do. So here we've got our checklist. So we're still building this area out as it comes to the tranche 2 stuff, but based on the services that you're going to be providing, we will know if it's a designated service or not, and we'll flag to you, hey, you probably need to do a risk assessment here based on the services that you're going to be providing, and that'll also trigger whether you need to be doing an ID verification or not. So great. So I can, my client continuance. So these are just, it's an example, but here you've got an internal checklist. You have checklist notes. You can even have this signed off by a particular person in the business, but you're doing this all as part of your proposal. And the last step for us is to just review this before we send it out. So you can preview it. So you can be the client. But at this point here, I'm going to say send to client because we are going to be the client. Great. So there we go. Proposal sent. And I'm just going to pop over to my inbox.
I love the reminders feature as well, Lee, because I would definitely need a reminder.
Oh, absolutely. So here we have the email that I got. So hi, Emily, we've sent you a new engagement. You can customize emails, all of that sort of thing.
We are still on the proposal screen, Lee.
I've shared just the window.
Yeah, damn.
I promise you there is a, hold on, let me just reshare it.
We need some on hold music.
There we go. Hopefully I did that fast enough.
Oh, ready? I've got to add.
There we
Cool.
go.
All right.
Sorry, tech issues. It's me problem, not a you problem. So what we have here is we've got the email that was sent to Emily. So what we can do is we can just copy the link, and we're going to be Emily now. So I'm opening up a new tab. So I need you to shift your minds now. So imagine we were the business, we were the fund company. We're now going to be Emily. So we're now seeing this as if we were Emily. So the first thing we ask your client to do is to just verify their email. We don't do usernames and passwords. It's too complicated for you to be able to get paid and get your client onboarded. We do mandatory 2FA for like onboardings via SMS and all of those neat security things. But to get your proposal done, you don't need your client to sign up for another username and password. So here we have our proposal. So again, got our branding, got our colors, all of that sort of thing, who it was sent by, your business address in case your client ever finds themselves lost, alone, and afraid. But here we've got our welcome message, what you'll review, what happens after you sign. So we're telling your client the things that are kind of coming up for them. And again, if you didn't include an onboarding, the onboarding stuff doesn't show. So, but great. So next, so here we've got our services. So here we've got each of our services. I'd left them as grouped by frequency. You can choose to not group them by frequency. It's really up to you, but your client can now kind of see the different pricing that you've set up for them. Next, we have our terms and conditions. So again, and depending on the terms and conditions, we've merged in merge field. So all of the dates are pulled through, client names, all of that. But at this point here is where we now ask them for explicit consent. So I've read, understood, and accept the terms. And this becomes important later on when we do, when we generate the PDF, we generate a full audit trail of everything that's kind of happened as part of this process. But here's the important part, getting paid. So they've done the terms and conditions. Thank you very much. Now we want your money, Emily. So what we have here is because we've said we want to do an upfront payment, we also want you to give us payment details. And then we also are going to do repeating billing. We show that to your client in these three distinct areas. So we have our upfront invoice. The client can click on it. They can see a breakdown of that invoice. They can choose, depending on credit card or direct debit. We'll actually change the amount due based on your surcharge preferencing, that sort of thing. We'll show your surcharge rates down here, all of that stuff. But the next thing we want them to do is we want them to add a credit card or a bank account. And then we're also billing you 900x GST ongoing. So sorry. But at this point here, they can't actually move forward until they give us either a credit card or a bank account. If you choose to not show credit cards don't show. We'll then only show the payment method that we've asked for. So I'll add a credit card. I'm in test mode, so mine pre-fills automatically. So this is theoretically the client giving you that pre-approval. So the Pinch pre-approval, that for those of you who have done it through the Pinch merchant portal, you would have sent that out through Pinch. We're just doing this now in OnboardMe as part of your proposal. So put in their card, expiry date, CVV, and submit. And in the background, there we go. So card saved, client doesn't even exist yet, but we've managed to do that. We do a whole bunch of fun things in the background. But the idea here is that that's also now triggered the, it's lost my brain, the pre-approval, that confirmation email. That's now been triggered to the client as part of them doing the card in OnboardMe. But here we can see we've got a card on file. If they were an existing client, we would show them that they have an existing payment method. If they wanted to update that payment method or add a new one, they can do that too. But great, once I've done that now, I can now accept the proposal. So we've got a note section. There we go. So I accept the proposal and I'm authorized to do so. The client can either type their name in or you can get them to draw their signature. And you can even enforce them to just draw their signature. And the last thing as part of this flow is we want you to accept and pay. So, yep. One last time, Emily, we're going to take $1,000 off your credit card. Are you sure? Yeah, thank you very much. And pay now. If I was doing this on my mobile as the client, we're fully kind of mobile adaptive, all of that stuff. So proposal has been accepted and the payment was successful. But what you'll also notice is in the top right, we've actually downloaded a PDF. So here we have I'm Emily, remember. So we've downloaded the entire proposal down to Emily's machine. So here's our introduction. Here's the services that they accepted. Here's our terms and conditions. There's our signature block that we embedded. Here's our overall agreement summary, and you can specify a business signatory too. And then the last step is just our agreement history. So you've got an audit trail of everything that happened. So we sent the email, we sent the SMS, Emily verified the email, put in a credit card, did all of that. So we have this, we store a copy of this, but we also download it to your client. And if you're using something like an FYI, we'll automatically file this into FYI. But what that's done in the background for those of you who are wondering. So we have created a customer in Pinch. We've created a contact in Xero. We've also got a pre-approval via credit card. But we also then went and we created an invoice in Xero, which we then asked Pinch to pay or to take payment for using the payment method, the credit card. And then Pinch, because they're integrated into Xero, will go and mark that invoice as paid. So we've gone from proposal to paid in Emily doing 6 clicks, maybe. And that's really where the power of the integration lies. Now, this is where we get to do the really specific OnboardMe things, right? So never mind the proposal and getting paid. You're paid now, but we said we wanted Emily to do a client onboarding. So we've taken Emily straight to the client onboarding screen. So at this point here, Emily can say she wants to get on board. And yes, that is a play on OnboardMe, get on board. It was actually interestingly enough, sorry, brain tangent here. Kayo Sports had an ad that had a song that said, get on board, get on board. It was actually just after we launched. It was quite fitting. I wanted to copyright claim that for a while, but
are you going to do an OnboardMe version of that, Lee, as well?
No, the original one's so good. I wouldn't want to. I'd really ruin it for myself and everyone. No one wants to hear me sing. Sorry, I've already sung.
Fair.
Great, but yeah, so we've now gone from proposal to client onboarding. So here we've got our client onboarding kind of stepper. We have different ways that you can show this to your client, whether it's a stepper approach, so next, or just a continuous form. It's really up to you how you want to do this. So we have like name, middle name, surname, initials, date of birth and country of birth are mandatory because we said we wanted you to do an ID and an AML check. So country of birth, Australia, gender is optional, director ID and TFN. So again, for our accounting friends, director ID and TFN show here. When you sign up for OnboardMe, you can choose to not be an accountant, and we don't show accounting specific things. So we've built it in a way it will work for as many industries as possible. But we also do number validation. So we're making sure you're not getting junk in and junk out. And if your client doesn't know how to find their TFN, we've built like step-by-step instructions on how to get your TFN from the ATO, do all of that fun stuff. But I don't want to give you my TFN. We have our contact details. We have our email address. And we've got our actual address. And we can say, yep, our physical address is the same as our postal address. If you want to collect bank account details, you can for our accounting friends. If you're not in accounting, you don't see the bank account details. You can also choose to make this step mandatory. So if you do collect bank account details, though, we'll do some fun things like getting the bank account name, the account number, and that sort of thing. So we've got a billing step too. So you can do an onboarding and you can collect payment details as part of the onboarding. It doesn't even have to be as part of the proposal. So we've really deeply integrated Pinch in a way that you don't have to do a proposal just to collect payment later. So we've picked up that you created a billing profile in your proposal. Do you want to just reuse it? Yes. And what we'll do is we'll bring that credit card across. So we've now attached that credit card that we created to Emily. And here we've got our ID verification. And so start ID verification. Again, if you're not an accountant, don't worry about this segment, but in the app, we can now do a verify your ID. So you've gone from proposal to client onboarding. What document do I want to verify myself with? Passport or driver's. I'm going to use my passport. It's not going to do a real verification, but it's going to show you guys the process. So I'm going to switch to my mobile. It's here. It wants me to take a picture. So I'll just take a picture. Now you're all going to get to watch me take a selfie. So I'm sure everyone on who's done this has done this once before, but there we go. Beautiful selfie. It's fantastic. So what we're doing now is we're doing all the, is the person a real, is Emily who Emily says she is? Emily's definitely not real here. This is a test one. So, but there we go. Your client has now done the ID doc and the selfie, and they're done. They don't need to know whether they passed or failed the ID check. We'll tell you about that later on. But once that's done, here's the documents that we requested. So again, we're collecting as much information as possible. If your client doesn't have the docs, that's fine. They just have to tell you that they don't have them. I don't have them. And that's done. And for those of you who use custom fields in stuff like XPM or FYI, you can actually include your custom fields as part of onboarding. So these are custom fields that I have. But once that's done, cool, I can now move from Emily. So Emily's been completed. I can now go to Emberson PDY. For the purposes of today, though, I'm conscious of time. I'm going to bail out of the onboarding. So what I'll do is I'll delete the PDY. But the last thing for us to do is to pretty much say, great, I can complete the onboarding. And then the last thing that we said we wanted Emily to do was to do the form. So we've now taken Emily straight to our eForm. So from proposal to onboarding to eForm in kind of one flow. So this is now where our questionnaire comes in. No, and here you'll see our conditional questions. So no, marital status. So, but we go from marital status to something like number of dependents. If I say married, oh, now we ask you for your spouse's name. So that's where our conditional logic kind of comes in. And again, forms is optional, but you've got one platform that will kind of do it all. But I'm going to stop there for now. And the last thing I wanted to show you, like if you guys would love a full demo of OnboardMe, you can book a demo on our website. We've got a free trial, a whole bunch of different things. But what I wanted to show you guys was the kind of output of what we did in our proposal. So if I pop over to Xero and I go to contacts, well, I guess I could actually do this from OnboardMe. This is the one. So here's Emily. And here we have a little Xero ledger button. And if I open this up, here we can see we have Emily and all the information that was captured. If I go to our activity, here's the invoice. I don't have Pinch connected, but if Pinch was connected, it would show as paid already. But that invoice that we took payment for up front is done, created in Xero. It's got our line items, everything done. And then the other thing that we also did was if I go back to invoices and I just go to repeating invoices, here we've got Emily now set up as a repeating invoice. So from proposal, we've got paid up front, but we've also now got a repeating invoice that's going to take payment from the 30th of April ongoing. So that I think is where I'll stop the demo for today. There's a lot more that we can show you, so much more I haven't got to go through. But yeah, please just, yeah, you want more information, we'll cover that in a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. I think there's been a couple of questions that have come through as well. So I might move screens, but Cam, did you want to run through a few of the questions?
Sure do. Thanks, Lee. There has been some great questions. A couple of them are already been answered, but I do have one here that I'll pop up onto the stream for you to answer.
So that's an interesting one. So we don't do, so the onboarding module is around employee onboarding. So we don't do employee onboarding. We do client onboarding. So we're primarily focused on that client onboarding side of things instead of the employee onboarding. I know that Xero has that. There's also another app the couple of different apps that connect to Xero. But yeah, our primary focus is around client onboarding, not employee onboarding.
Cool. Thanks for answering that one, Lee. Let's move on to this one here. Oh, where did it disappear to? I've got it here. Here it is. This one's a good one.
Oh, that's fine. Yes. So what I showed you was just being able to take payment upfront. So when you build your proposal, you can choose to specify pricing upfront, or you could just do this is what our hourly cost is. But yeah, we're fully kind of flexible in that. So you don't have to bill upfront, but you can still just take payment details up. You can collect payment details upfront. And then what you can do is you can go to either Xero or OnboardMe, and you can create a bill. If you do it through OnboardMe, you can create a bill and take payment in one click of the button. So yeah, we have that kind of natively available for those of you who bill on completion.
Fantastic. Thanks for clarifying. I did indeed think that was the case, but hey, always good to get it straight from the source. Alrighty, and one last one, which it was answered, but I think I just want to clarify. Eddie asked this question about the pricing, and you kind of directly mentioned menu pricing. So if there's anything extra to expand on that, would be great.
Yeah, so when you build the proposal, you choose the services that you want to offer as part of the proposal that you're sending out. And you can then also choose the terms and conditions. So you get to build that. But what you can also do with that is you can include your menu of services. And your menu of services is almost all the different options that you provide as a firm. So you have a templates area where you can set all of this up. We have defaults for it, default services, default packages, but you can customize all of that, Eddie. And yeah, it's you can choose then to give that to your customer that they can choose. So we're just engaging you for tax but hey, we do business advisory too, or something like that. They can actually pick that off the services list. And you've already got the terms and conditions and all of that done. So yeah, we do handle that, and that's optional. So you don't have to always show that. You choose that on a proposal by proposal basis.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think that is all of the questions that we have so far. So if anyone else has any other questions in the chat, definitely now is the time to ask. Eddie's asked, can you do it side by side as well?
Oh, so we don't do it side by side, Eddie. We do it step after step. So they start with your the services that you've proposed, and then the next step on the stepper, which I didn't tick the option, they actually see your full menu of services that they can then choose from. So we add it as if it was another step that they consciously need to go through as part of the proposal acceptance. And then yes, so to Christina's question there is yes, so that the bill upfront enables means that you get the pre-approval once it's signed. It's actually before they've signed, because they've already given you the pre-approval, but yes, it's one flow for them. So you don't need to do it again.
Yeah, and that is the genius flow of the integration, is really where it all comes together, because you get to utilize obviously the features of OnboardMe, right, which are fantastic and built for industry, and then you also get to utilize in conjunction with those the Pinch features. So that's things like payment plans and things that we offer and support. Customer portal, if you have clients that would like to access and manage, their things from a customer portal. All of those features are compatible and flow back to that same accounting system data. So that really is the advantage of using this platform. So yeah, we've got 5 minutes left if anyone else has any other questions. Otherwise, on the screen now, we have our lovely QR codes. So you can go and check out and sign up for either OnboardMe or Pinch, depending on which way you're coming from. I would imagine most of the clients on this call now are existing Pinch clients and looking at potentially using OnboardMe. As well as that, I've put some links in the chat for the live demo section of the OnboardMe application, but very easily found on that same website is the ability to book a demo with Lee, and he can dive you through all of the wonderful features in a bit more depth.
Amazing.
Glad to hear it's been excellent, Diana. thank you everyone for joining. As we said, we've got 4 more minutes, so we'll stick around and answer any other questions as they come up. As I said, no such thing as a silly question. If you have anything specific as well, if you are an accountant or bookkeeper and you have anything specific about the AML changes and tranche 2 and all those sorts of things, Emily and Lee are both very capable of answering those questions for you. Maybe not myself, but they certainly are.
Yeah. So you don't have to have the so Christina, you don't have to have the bill up front. So if you're renewing a proposal, or if it's a client that has so we've built it in a way that if you're an existing Pinch customer, you don't have to redo all of your pre-approvals. When you create the proposal and you have a Pinch account, we'll actually go to Pinch and we'll look up the client to see if they already have a customer profile. And then we'll reuse any of their existing pre-approval and payment methods, and we'll show those to the client. So you don't have to redo all of those when you do a renewal. Or if you're new to the platform, but you want to just use the bill up front, but you don't want them to have to redo their payment methods, you can do all of that from within the platform. So yeah, we've built it in a way, if you're an existing Pinch customer, you don't lose things by coming to OnboardMe, and vice versa.
Beauty.
Awesome.
All righty. Well, look, Lee, I certainly appreciate your time. Emily, I'm sure you do as well. Thank you both for kind of hosting and letting me just kind of manage everything from the side. It's been enlightening for me. There's obviously, the last time I did one of these was, like you said, Lee, about 12 months ago, a little bit under. And there's so much more in there now that it's like, oh, gee whiz. So that's really awesome. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, appreciate the time, and for everyone who joined. I can hop on a little. There's a lot to show you, so yeah. Sorry if I bombarded you with it, but yeah, the Swiss. There's no easy way to use a Swiss Army knife in an hour.
There is not, but hey, look, we got some more questions flowing in, which is great.
Yeah, so if a client, if a client's on a retainer, yeah, there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. So how our billing works is because we kind of integrate into Xero. So what you can do is you can either send them a new proposal if it's something that you need them to engage for. If it's just a matter of changing the billing, you can just go into Xero and change your repeating invoice template. So unfortunately, Xero doesn't allow us to update repeating bills, so you can't do that from our proposal. But yeah, because it lives in Xero, you should be able to just edit the repeating bill inside of Xero, and then your billing's changed, and that you can do that post proposal getting signed if you do want to get them to re-engage or something like that.
Awesome.
Sorry, guys, I've just been alerted that my typing is very loud. So who knows what's going on there? Good old MacBooks.
Like, I think we also have the same drink bottle, it looks like, which is absolutely hilarious.
Very possibly, yes.
So close, so close.
Snap.
Funny.
Amazing.
Okay. Oh, what was that, Lee?
No, I was just saying amazing.
So good,
yeah.
so good.
All good.
Fantastic. All right. Well, look, that kind of wraps us up for time, guys. We will obviously respect everyone's time. If you are watching this session back, feel free to reach out. Scanning the QR codes here will take you to the respective sign-up pages. But both the Pinch Payments website and the OnboardMe website have details about this. You can always watch the session back from the contrast link from the booking. And included in this chat as well for anyone watching live, there is a link back to watch other Pinch webinars for specific industries as well. We like to host these sorts of sessions to cover some of the different platforms that connect with Pinch. So keep your eyes out for other platforms as well. We're always looking for new ways to mix different industry tools into the wider payment experience with the shared goal that Lee has of ultimately just making customer and client onboarding easy right? And for us, it's about making that cash flow side of thing easy for your clients as well. So cash flow and onboarding pairing really well together in this platform can hopefully solve pretty much every single one of your payments issues. So that's really the goal. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Lee, for sharing that fantastic platform with us. And thank you, Emily, as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Cool. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.